Hello everyone and welcome. Sparky Linux has garnered increased interest in the community on DistroWatch lately, where it has become a bit of a rising star, and so I figured we should take a closer look today. Sparky is a newcomer-friendly distro from Poland and comes in two flavors: stable, based on Debian 11 Buster, and semi-rolling, based on Debian Sid, which will eventually snapshot to Debian 12 Bookworm a couple of years from now. For this video, I chose the rolling release Sparky 7, since even Debian Sid is very stable in my opinion. Let's boot up the live media on a KVM. So here it comes up, and we have some choices. Let's stick with the default US English top choice. And Sparky Linux is booting up. It's got the infinity symbol, since this is a semi-rolling release, I suppose. And there's our live desktop environment, the LXQT environment, Sparky 7 Orion Belt. So let's fix the resolution here. Let's set it to 1920 by 1080 and apply. Okay, we can close that. All right. So this welcome screen shows us the home page for Sparky Linux, sparkylinux.org. It is indeed powered by Debian. So they give us a little bit of a history and some news, like the Sparky 6.1 has just been released a couple of days ago. Pretty cool. Looks like yesterday Sparky 6.1 was released. There's an ad. Let's get rid of that. The site sure has quite a few ads. I guess they need to do that to help fund the project. So they go through main features of Sparky, what it's all about. Does Sparky need your support? Of course they do. Here's the download page. So we've got the option of stable and semi-rolling. Semi-rolling is what we're using today. Also got a forums section. Let's take a quick look at that. Yeah, lots of posts and topics on just about everything from hardware to software, different languages, and etc. I also have a wiki section here. And looks like the wiki section is pretty comprehensive. I read through some of it, found it very useful, and so yeah, highly recommended. So let's take a look at their Git repository. So they have a bunch of repositories for their installation and management tools. So that's good to know where that's located. So yes, we're indeed running Sparky Linux 7 Orion Belt. The kernel is 5.14.0-2, which is from Sid, I believe, Debian Sid. So you got donate section, a backup section, which we'll be exploring in more depth later in this video. So let's run the Sparky Installer. Let's execute it. Let's minimize that window. So the Calamares version is 3.2.44-3. Okay, fairly recent. So yes, I'm in Los Angeles time zone. English US default is good. We'll stick with the defaults to install on our 32 gig virtual disk today. No swap, just two partitions, EFI and Sparky root on ext4. My name's Steven. I'll name this computer Sparky 1. Give myself a password. Put it in twice. I will not log in automatically since it's not a kiosk. All right, Calamares is telling us what it will do, so looks good. Let's install. So let's go ahead and let it do its thing. So first it's unpacking the image. And next it's configuring locales and doing the final setup steps here, creating the init RAM file system, installing the bootloader, and mounting everything, and it's installed. So let's go ahead and restart. And hit enter to eject the CD-ROM from the tray. Very typical Debian request. So our installed system is coming up. And this is our LXQT login screen. So I'm going to click on the password field and enter my password. And we're in our LXQT installed Sparky 7 system. So let's do the screen resolution thing again. Okay. So first things first, let's make sure we're up to date with the system upgrade. Yes, reminding us in the bottom right here, behind my head. So it needs to get 491 megabytes or megabytes of archives. So let's have it do the updates. It's downloading everything from Bookworm and Sid. Okay. Now it's unpacking and installing all the patches and updates. Looks like it finished. Yeah, let's let it exit. No, I don't think I want to do the Sparky locale thing. Let me just see if I can get rid of this here. No, please go away. All right, so we just patched the system. So let's reboot as a matter of caution. So let's select reboot, hit yes. Okay. Let's select the first entry in the grub bootloader and wait for the login. So there it is. Okay, I'll enter my password again. And we are back at the LXQT, the old resolution. I think I forgot to save. So let me just hit the monitor settings again. 1920 by 1080. This time I click save. Not apply, but save. I guess save does apply. It's a little confusing, but live and learn, right? Okay, so let's check the LXQT versions. So they're still, even though they're on SID rolling, they're still on version 0.16, even though version 1 has just been released a couple of days ago. So they'll get to it eventually, I'm sure. So let's look at the LXQT settings. The fonts seem all wonky. You got tiny fonts and big fonts. Let's make all the fonts point size 12. Let me close that. The window titles are tiny. Let's see if we can fix that with the open box settings. The open box is the default window manager of LXQT. Let's click on font. See, they're using 8 and 9 point fonts, which I think is silly. So let's select font size 12, Cantorell bold. That looks a little better, more matching the rest of the system. Let's do the same for the inactive windows, in the active window titles. Let's do Cantorell regular for the menu header. Same 12-point font for the menus and everything else in here. Let's just do everything. On-screen display. Let's make them all 12-point fonts so things look a little balanced here. Okay, I think the fonts look a little better here, less wonky. Got date and time here, so the time and looks good. Date looks good as well, so it's the time zone. Let's enable time synchronization, network time protocol. Oh, NTP not supported. Well, that's weird. It is a KVM, so it should get the correct time from the host. So let's open up Firefox here and do time.Iceland, or is, yeah, time is exact. So something seems to be working with the time synchronization, network time. Let me close this for a sec. Let me launch a terminal. The grab handles are a little bit tiny here. Gotta be a little careful with the mouse. Let's make the font size a little bigger so it's legible. And let's check and see if the status of ntp.service is running or not. Let me just enter my password here. Yes, NTP is running. So it's a little bit odd, that error message earlier, when NTP is in fact fully functional. Yeah, don't know what this is. Is it an LXQT problem? Is it a Debian issue or Sparky issue? Let me look at, find the Synaptic package manager. See if I can find it here somewhere. I'm not seeing it. Let me just do Synaptic, launch it via search. Don't know where they hid that. Yeah, so we've got thousands of packages listed, almost 62,000 packages. So here are the repositories. So as I mentioned earlier, a bunch of Sid repositories, including main and non-free, Sparky Linux Core, Sparky Linux Orion, also some Bookworm repositories from Debian, which will become Debian 12. So yeah, we've got a full set of fresh repositories available. A lot of packages available. Let's relaunch the welcome screen. Let's take a look at the App Center, or the Aptus App Center of Sparky. This is one of their utilities that they have a Git repository for. Got applications, Aptus, search, info, and exit. So let's click on applications. I think we're already on our applications, just not highlighted. So let's see, if I click on internet and I click on email, let's see what applications are available for us. So I guess this is a simplified Synaptic, if you will. So yeah, they've got the usual suspects, Claws Mail, Evolution, Thunderbird, etc. Okay, let's go back. Yeah, it's not highlighted. It should be highlighted, I think. Aptus gives us a list of other utilities, system maintenance and administration utilities, including packages, updates, cleanups, custom repositories, and even a terminal for a quick link. For search, I don't know what that does. Yeah, I'm going to skip that. No, it's not finding a search. Is it searching Aptus? I don't know. Okay. Probably searches Aptus. Info, we've got 2021 1102 Sparky 7 running here. So we've got a nice little blurb and the team members of Sparky Linux showcased. Okay, so let's clear the terminal. Let's do the custom Sparky ISO. Old habits here. Let's do the custom ISO as a backup. So let's make the home offline directory and change it to myself, take ownership. And let's prep the system to build the hybrid backup ISO through Sparky. So we need to make sure we're up to date. Make sure all our packages are up to date with sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade -y. And looks like we've got some auto remove packages, candidates. We'll take care of that shortly. Let's do install the Sparky-backup-sys and Calamares to create a new installable live ISO. Let it do its thing. This is all from the wiki, by the way, the Sparky Linux wiki. Next, the wiki instructs us to grab some packages, but we want to make sure that we auto-remove first. We have a clean system with sudo apt get clean to keep the size of the resulting ISO to a minimum. The max ISO size is 3.99 gigabytes. So now we need to get 6 packages. The EFI boot MGR, grub-EFI, grub-EFI-AMD64, grub-EFI-AMD64, -bin, libefi boot1, and finally libefi var1. Hit enter. Those are the 6 packages that the wiki tells us to download into home offline. It must be in this directory to create the ISO successfully. Looks like they're in. All right, let's close this terminal and let's launch the backup tool, Sparky's Backup ISO Hybrid Creator. It's the Sparky backup system, so it's asking for my password. We'll click OK. So you've got a bunch of options here. Let's click on Info first. So Sparky Backup is a tool which can make a copy of your present installation of Sparky Linux, including all extra packages you've already installed. So it's based on remaster sys-GUI, which works very well with Debian. So these are the instructions that I already accomplished. Download these 6 packages, created the home offline directory, also installed Calamares because I like that installer. Here we can edit the sparkybackup.conf, so we can label the ISO, etc. Yeah, live user is live. Installer will also keep the same default user groups when a new user is created. These are the default groups that this user is added to. Quiet splash is the grub config line. We already cleaned up the apt cache just now. So let's start the backup process, which creates the ISO that you can boot from and recover the system from. So that's a backup system. So while it's doing that, let's look at the menu here. So you got Featherpad, Editor, PCMan, File Manager, Clipper, etc. Scanning. LibreOffice is installed as well. A scanner and screenshot. Firefox Extended Service Release. IRC client, conversation. Persepolis Download Manager. RiseUp VPN is what they promote. I'm on ExpressVPN currently. Don't know if I'll stick with them. Got Thunderbird and QBitTorrent. Also, LibreOffice is pre-installed. Let's see what we have here. Help, About LibreOffice. And we've got 7.2.2.2, which is About as fresh as it gets. Very nice. For programming, you've got an icon browser, so not much installed in other programming. Clementine Audio, Pulse Audio, radio station, SparkyTube, YouTube app, VLC media player, pretty good. Webcam, burner, system tools, pretty standard stuff. There's time shift as well, so you can, especially important with a rolling release, you can just roll back to a snapshot. Very handy. We're not going to be covering it in this video. Yeah, okay, looks like a fairly comprehensive basic desktop install. So let's see here. We've got the ISO created. So these are the files it created and placed in home Sparky backup-sys, Sparky backup-sys. Don't know why that's double, but I'll go with it. So let's exit the backup software. Let's open up a terminal. Let's make the font a little more legible. Let's go to /home/Sparky backup-sys and take a look. So there's our new ISO that we just created based on our freshly updated system. So it's 1.7 gigabytes, which is well under the 3.99 gigabytes max. So there's plenty of room for your own custom packages, etc. So we need to copy this over to the new VM and boot from it. So let's do that now. Booting from our new live ISO that we just created, our hybrid ISO, UEFI compatible. So we had to install all those additional UEFI packages earlier. That's the reasoning behind that. Otherwise, you just get a BIOS compatible install media. And you want UEFI, since I'm running UEFI KVMs here. So that looks familiar. Sparky 7 on board. And there's our welcome screen. So let's see if we're running an updated ISO. Let me fix the screen resolution again. Let's save it this time. Yes. Close. All right. Let's open up a terminal. Let's make this a bit bigger here. It's so tiny. Let's make this, the fonts bigger. So let's sudo apt update and see how up to date we are. Looks like all packages are up to date as the time I'm running this. So yes, this is our new ISO indeed. It's fully up to date. No updates available. So let's sudo apt install Neofetch and run Neofetch. Hopefully when this is done. Let it install. It has a whole bunch of support packages to install for Neofetch. All right. So let's clear the terminal and type Neofetch. All right. So we're running bash. Desktop environment is LXQT. The window manager is OpenBox. The theme is Sparky 6. Icons are Tela. I like those. 888 megabytes for the memory usage. That's including the welcome screen running, which of course consumes a lot of RAM. Let's take a look at the lsb-release file. So Sparky is the ID, releases 7, Orion Belt is the code name. Description is Sparky Linux, but this is definitely Debian 11 or 12 based. So, yeah, the Calamares install is working, 3.44-3. Yeah, you can go through this if you want. We're not going to do this in this video. As you can see, Calamares is fully functional, so you can reinstall your system with all your latest packages and updates. That's kind of a backup system. Very powerful. I like it. So with the welcome screen gone, we're using 429 megabytes of memory, RAM. Of course, You can customize your own live ISO with your own packages and even create your own rescue media, which is very powerful indeed, and I wish my own distro of choice, Arch, would have something similar, so I'm a little jealous. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Anyway, I hope you had fun watching this video. If so, please like and subscribe, and click that notification bell so you won't miss out. Until next time, take care.